Okay.
Joe Recovery.
Joe Recovery, take 6, I believe. Hi everyone, my name's Joseph. I am many things. I'm an alcoholic, I'm a drug addict, I'm a sex and love addict, I'm a storyteller, I'm someone's brother, I'm someone's son, I'm pretty funny, I'm a good friend. I really enjoy jogging, I like cooking terrible food and watching my friends' reactions when they eat it. But the main point of this story really is that I am an addict in recovery, and how beautiful my recovery has been and how fortunate I am really, though it was painful at times and horrible. But at this end of it, 2.5 years in, I'm getting to a really good place, and I want to tell you how I got there. So around about 2 years ago, I realised I needed help, and I started going to NA, which is Narcotics Anonymous, and I started going to AA, which is Alcoholics Anonymous, and they are the famous ones, I guess. They're the ones that everyone knows about from movies and from books and stories. And from going to these meetings, I found out about a very specific one called SLAA, which is Sex and Love Addiction Anonymous. And that group was one that really fitted me and my recovery and my needs. That was a group where I felt at home. And from going there, I started going to see a therapist once a month. And we talk about my recovery journey. And I know with all these lists of things that I was doing over the last 2 years, it sounds like I was going to meetings constantly all day, every day, but that's not the case. It kind of oscillates. Sometimes I was going to AA for a week or a month, then I would go to NA for a week or a month, and they all helped at different times in different ways. But this therapist that I see monthly, he and I established a conversation and a level of trust. And initially when I was going to see him, I would only talk about work and my living situation and friends and family, and maybe just maybe a tiny little bit about romance, and maybe just maybe a tiny little bit about my sex life, but always at the end and always after 45 minutes of convincing him that I was a good human who had a good life. Over these 10 or 12 sessions, I started to find out more about myself and more about my recovery, and I started to like myself more, and I started to forgive myself more for the terrible things I had put myself through or the bad things I had done. And in all of this journey, nobody told me that I needed to become a new Joseph. Nobody said, you have to wipe yourself out. But I did, internally, quietly, secretly. I told myself, at the end of this, you'll be a new you. You're going to delete who you were, you're going to erase your past, and you're going to be Joe 2.0. You're going to be newer, better, fitter, cleaner, healthier, sober Joe. This is the pressure I put myself under. And no one in recovery told me to do it. And just a week ago, I had a Zoom meeting with my therapist who I've established trust with. And because we moved from the real world, from an office space, to this online computer technology meeting, I somehow felt more liberated. And instead of talking about work and my family, I only talked exclusively about my sex life for an hour. It was salacious, it was exotic, it was liberating. I felt like maybe I should have charged him for the hour. It was entertaining, it was engaging. I loved it, and I became me, and I felt me again. For the first time in 2 years and 5 months, I was me again. And it meant I could look at the past Joe and realise that I'm still him, and look to the future Joe and realise that I've got nothing to fear. I can pour my past into my present and be me. I can bring my mistakes and my successes. My recovery is not about deleting me. My recovery is about revealing me, accepting me, loving me, and moving forward as a person in recovery for the rest of my life, and a storyteller, and a journalist, someone's brother, someone's son. Thanks so much for listening.